Thanks to the basketball exploits of All-American Cassie Russell, Chrysler Arena became the house that Cassie built. Today, it presents Big Ten basketball. BTN basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy, 4th-ranked Michigan against the Penn State Nittany Lions. And with Sean Morris, I'm Tom Hamilton. Right now, a logjam at the top. Indiana and Michigan State with a 2-game lead, Sean.
Michigan wanting to maintain striking distance between the two conference leaders who will meet later this week. Ohio State and Wisconsin meeting up later today.
A packed house at the newly rededicated and beautifully refurbished Chrysler Center. Sean, your keys.
For Penn State, getting back on defense going to be very important. Michigan, 76 points per ball game. The Nittany Lions don't shoot well. They're going to have to attack the glass to give themselves an opportunity. Glenn Robinson, the third for Michigan. They want to get him on track. 7 of 24 over his last 4 ball games. And if you're Michigan, Tom, you want to get off to a quick start to kind of erase the taste of the Michigan State game and also put some doubt in the mind of Penn State, who came in playing their best game of the year at home versus Iowa.
And the opening tip controlled by Penn State. Mike Eads, John Higgins, and DJ Karstensen, an outstanding trio of men with the whistles here today. Penn State looking to get off to a good start after a 2-point loss to the Iowa Hawkeyes the other night. They will work the clock, a 3-ball, and knocking it down is Jermaine Marshall. Marshall at 15 points a game, second on the team in scoring. DJ Newbill, his counterpart, at 16 a game. A familiar 5 for Michigan.
That's a good start for Penn State, Tom, because not only did they get the made basket, but they burned a lot of shot clock. They want to try to shorten this game versus Michigan.
Well, Jordan Morgan misses a layup, gets a rebound, kicks it into the corner to Trey Burke, and we're tied at 3. You look at the 5 for Penn State. Nick Colella, a walk-on to captain, and now a starter. Burke on the turnover. Burke, nice look. Hardaway fouled on the way up. And that'll go against DJ Newbill, his first. Boy, Michigan gets transition points in so many ways.
And they do a very nice job of spreading the floor. You saw Tim Hardaway Jr. kind of fan out on that wing, and that gave a much better passing angle for Burke in transition. Nice 2-man game in the open floor.
Hardaway, 73% free throw shooter. What was amazing when Michigan was demolished the other night in East Lansing, both Hardaway and Robinson each had just 2 points. That's how good Michigan State was against the Michigan Wolverines. And Coach John Beilein said today to us, Sean, hey, look, we have 6 freshmen that play so much. You never know how their confidence will be shaken by that kind of a setback.
A very young squad, and they were on the back end of a brutal stretch. Every team has gone through it. Indiana's getting ready to undergo a similar stretch of road games against the division leaders, and Michigan coming out the back end of that here today versus Penn State.
Penn State with the ball, down a point, 4-3 here in the early going. Marshall misses that 3, rebound to Jordan Morgan.
Nice job of contesting by Tim Hardaway.
Trey Burke in transition.
I've said it before, Tom, he's a right-handed player, but he makes so many of his plays going to his left hand. I mean, if you're defending him, it's counterintuitive. You almost want to force him right.
Great effort and a near steal. Penn State is up with it. Pull-up jumper and knocking it down is Ross Travis, the sophomore out of Chaska, Minnesota. Michigan with a 6-5 lead. We're a little over 2 minutes into this one.
And that's a bonus for Penn State when Travis scores, not known as a scorer. However, he is 4th in the conference at rebounding at about 7 per out.
Morgan on the block. He's not been the same player since a badly sprained ankle. That time he's called for traveling, and that's a guy that John Beilein needs at full strength, maybe more so on the other end of the floor, Sean.
Absolutely, that defensive presence that Morgan provides is very efficient around the rim, and a couple of weeks ago, I was at this game at Illinois, and he rolled that over, and anyone that's done that, that takes a long time to recover, and not only to recover, but recover mentally where you feel comfortable pressing off of it, going vertically.
Rodniak just can't handle it. Morgan comes up with a steal. Michigan up a point. This is Trey Burke. Look at him go left again. He has 7 points. Boy, he is special.
You know, he scores at 18 per game. How about the fact he leads the conference in assists at 7 and almost a 4-to-1 assist turnover ratio. Just a wonderful, wonderful sophomore year for Trey Burke.
Tim Hardaway got a piece of the shooting hand for his first foul.
Sasha Brogdon, that's not where you want to be if you're a big guy out in the open floor trying to guard Trey Burke.
Sean, you talked about it. He's right-handed. Is it tough as a defender to convince yourself he's not going to go to his right, so you overplay him anyway, and then he goes left?
Yeah, it's counterintuitive. And if you notice, when he's going to his left, he seems a little bit more comfortable knocking down that mid-range jump shot. He can complete going with either way. Now, let's not kid ourselves. He's outstanding going to his right as well, but it's counterintuitive to most scouting reports that you get. You usually try to force a right-handed player to the left. That's not necessarily the case with Trey Burke.
Jermaine Marshall knocks down both. He has 5 early points. Michigan with an 8-7 lead. A little over 3 minutes into it. Some token pressure by the Nittany Lions. Michigan handling it well. Stauskas, and that'll be a charge. Or is it? It's going to be a blocking foul. Penn State said, hey, look, one guy called a charge, but that guy got overruled.
Stauskas turning the corner. Nice job of kind of sidestepping the contact.
That's his first team, second.
First on Jermaine Marshall, second team. So Michigan maintains possession. Burke looking inside, and he found him. McGarry with a miss. McGarry had a good look, couldn't get the reverse layup. The freshman Mitch McGarry now into the ballgame. This is Newbill, who's becoming a star. Would be the 2 guard, but took over the point when Tim Frazier ruptured the Achilles. Marshall penetrates. Marshall got it. He has 7. Penn State has the lead, 9-8.
Nice, strong step through use of the shot fake. He knocked down a couple of perimeter jump shots. Michigan recognizes that, did not close out under control. The shot fake allows Marshall to create space.
And Pat Chambers said his Nittany Lions had to get off to a good start. They've done just that. And nobody's off to a better start than number 11, Jermaine Marshall. He has 11. The Nittany Lions have the early lead. BTN Basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy. What will you do in 5 hours? Also in part by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. And by Avis, where a car is much more than a rental. It's your space. What a special weekend here in Ann Arbor. The great Cassie Russell, a star in the mid-60s. Chrysler Arena became Chrysler Arena, the house that Cassie built, even though he never played in it. He was the #1 pick in the NBA draft going to the New York Knicks. Look at that career without the three-point line, Sean.
Unbelievable production. Won an NBA title with the New York Knicks as well.
Cassie Russell. What a career. Now, there wasn't such fancy seating when the Chrysler Arena opened in 1968 as there is now. What a job with this refurbishment. This has become one of the jewels in college basketball. Meanwhile, Penn State with a 9-8 lead. After a near miss to Iowa City when Coach Pat Chambers said, we almost played perfect and still lost. He didn't know how his club would react. 7 to shoot. Newbill. Newbill against Levert. 2 to shoot. Levert. What a defensive effort by Levert.
Tom, I have to believe that Coach Beilein really challenged his team to come out of that timeout situation and ratchet up the defensive intensity, and they did just that. Other than one interior feed, Penn State was held exclusively behind the three-point arc on that possession.
Michigan with the ball down the point. It's interesting, Tim Hardaway is still on the Michigan bench.
Penn State showing a little bit of his own defense, giving Michigan a different look here as well.
Michigan, one of the most prolific offensive clubs in college basketball. Newbill, the point guard with the rebound. He averages 6 rebounds a game as a point guard. Newbill on the drive. Ball banged loose. Down with it is Brandon Taylor, the freshman from New Jersey. Penn State, another 35 seconds. Nice look inside. Graham spinning. Miss it. Ball banged out of bounds. It'll belong to the Wolverines. Boy, Graham had a good look.
He kind of took his eye off the rim, Tom, and he was more worried about where the defender was than where the rim was. As a result, he left it a little short.
Yeah. Well, now Tim Hardaway's back in. He's having a fabulous year, but like Glenn Robinson, had only 2 points at Michigan State the other night. Michigan averaging in Big Ten play 72 points a game. The thing about Michigan, they don't turn it over and they never commit fouls.
And that was a big reason for their struggles at Michigan State. You mentioned it. They're toward the tops of the conference, second in the category in turnover margin, +3. But last time out versus Michigan State, 16 miscues.
Boy, Sean, there's a big foul on Jermaine Marshall. That's his second. They can't afford to have him on the bench.
No, an excellent job by Michigan of spacing the floor. That allowed Levert to go along that back line of defense. And that's a big part of what Michigan does, is spacing the floor. And as a result, you space out the defenders, allowing these guys that can get to the rim either via the dribble or with the cut, unobstructed pass.
Well, now, how does Penn State make up offensively in the absence of Jermaine Marshall as Brandon Taylor gets the rebound? Marshall had 7 early points, but now 2 fouls. He may be on the bench for much of this half. Possession arrow favors Michigan. Trey Burke with the tie-up. Sean, today's key stats are brought to you by Avis. Look at that.
I think it just speaks to the depth and the quality of this league.
Back in the game now.
Indiana, Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, all in the preseason top 25, and Wisconsin has joined them recently. And Wisconsin and Ohio State matching up later today for another important game as to who can stay within striking distance of the Hoosiers and Spartans.
You talk about redundant. There's an air ball by Mitch McGarry. It's redundant to say it's another big game in the Big Ten because every game with this kind of a conference depth becomes a big game. John Beilein telling us today this is a huge game for Michigan. They can't afford to slip up and home.
You know, especially coming off the brutal stretch that the Wolverines wrapped up in East Lansing as Glenn Robinson III draws the contact out front. And you talked about what's going to happen for Penn State with Newbill out, or with Marshall out rather. Newbill's going to have to really become more assertive offensively. That's really their only option right now. And every dribble handoff is switched.
That was Newbill on the miss. Run down by Glenn Robinson. The third poked out of bounds by Newbill.
And I tell you, that's a little bit of frustration by DJ Newbill. And
they called a foul on DJ Newbill.
I thought that's what they did there. And that's his second foul as well. And so if you're Newbill, you have to understand that Marshall's on the bench, Tom, and you can't afford to give a reach in 35 feet away from the rim.
Oh, my. That is the worst nightmarish scenario that Pat Chambers can have. Newbill and Marshall on the bench at the same time in foul trouble. Hardaway fading away, air ball. Nick Colella, the walk-on captain with a rebound.
And I think he's going to have to trust DJ Newbill to stay out there with the 2 fouls.
Quick shot, but a triple by Brandon Taylor.
And I don't think we're going to see Penn State come out of this 2-3 zone because of the foul situation that they find themselves in. They started off with a little bit of man-to-man, but with Marshall on the bench with 3, Newbill with 2, they can't afford to come out of this.
Good point. Michigan now down 3. It's the biggest lead of the game for Penn State.
Rich, you have a boxing 1 with Taylor on Stauskas.
And Michigan read it, but McGarry missed a layup at point-blank range, and he won't do that very often. Penn State with a 12-9 lead. Good look down low and a layup by Borovniak. And Penn State on a 9-1 run.
And Borovniak coming off a nice performance last time out, 14 points, 6 of 8 from the floor, and that losing effort at home versus Iowa.
Only Trey Burke has made a field goal for Michigan. The rest of the Wolverines 0 for 6.
In this area right there, they have to exploit that if you're Michigan.
Hardaway the miss. Rebound Borovniak for Penn State.
Right now, Michigan is playing exactly into the hands of what that 2-3 zone is designed to do. Bad shot. That is just a bad, bad shot by DJ Newbill.
Oh my, what effort. And is Ross Travis okay? Well, he found some friendly fans in Ann Arbor. Look at this effort by Ross Travis. He's okay, and Penn State is more than okay. A stunning start in Ann Arbor. Penn State leads 4th-ranked Michigan 14-9. And welcome to the Sunday Matinee with former Northwestern All-American Sean Morris. I'm Tom Hamilton. Are you shocked?
I am. Penn State is shooting the ball very, very well. They struggled throughout the course of the year shooting from behind. They are 28% on the year, but they were 8 of 17 last time out versus Iowa, 2 of 4 here in the early going. And the fact that they're up 14-9 is made even more impressive when you consider the foul trouble that their 2 leading scorers, which give Coach Pat Chambers about 30 points per ball game, both with 2 fouls.
Now can they maintain the lead with Newbill and Marshall on the bench? Trey Burke trying to go to work. He's the only Wolverine with a field goal. He missed that shot. Ross Travis, good balancing act with a rebound. And Penn State has out-rebounded Michigan 9-5 here in the early going. This is Kalala on the drive. Got the foul, got the bounce.
And that's just a complete breakdown defensively by Michigan, Tom. Kalala, a left-handed player, is able to go from the right side of the floor and get all the way to the rim without a white jersey impeding his progress. And that's just a rare defensive lapse by Michigan.
At one time, he was used as a practice player against the Penn State women's team when he transferred from a smaller school to Penn State. Always wanted to be a Nittany Lion. Walked on. Now he's a captain. He just made a 3-point play, and Penn State leads 17-9. Nittany Lions on a 12-1 run.
And Tom, with Newbill and Marshall on the bench, Penn State has abandoned the zone and gone man-to-man. Good recognition by Michigan of understanding that, and a dive by Glenn Robinson III.
And Kalala with the foul.
Again, spreading the floor, then just a complete straight dive cut there. A breakdown in communication by Penn State allows Glenn Robinson III to get to the rim. This is important for him to get some easy baskets. We talked about over the last 4 ball games, Tom. He really struggled shooting the ball, 7 of 24 in that span.
And again, yes, he's the son of the big dog, Glenn Robinson, but he's still only a freshman. And as John Beilein said today, with freshmen, anything can happen. You never know where that confidence can come and go in spurts.
And bear in mind, whether it's Glenn Robinson III or the other freshmen for either one of these squads, Tom, they're already in their 24th or 26th game of the season. A year ago in high school, that's their whole season.
Yeah.
They surpassed their season total of games, maybe at the 22, 23, 24 mark, and they understand they have another 2 full weeks to go, plus the postseason. That's a big difference.
Did you hit the wall as a freshman?
Yeah, I hit the wall, the floor, the ceiling.
17-11, Penn State with the lead. On the drive and a foul. DJ Newbill back in the game, crashes and draws the foul.
That's the second straight possession that Penn State's been able to get to the rim. First it was Kalala going with his strong or left hand. Here is Newbill going with his strong or right. And they were able to go from one side of the floor to the other. Michigan has to do a better job of hedging over and helping once the ball handler beats the primary defender.
Short on the first free throw is Newbill. Jordan Morgan leaves with 2 fouls, replaced by sophomore John Horford. Newbill leads the club in scoring at 16 a game. And Newbill playing with those 2 personals, so he's going to have to be very careful. That's his first point. Jermaine Marshall is still on the bench, and now Newbill joins him. So Pat Chambers trying to be very judicious with the playing time.
You usually see those types of situational substitutions later in the ballgame, but the foul situation has really dictated that he start that process a little bit earlier, and here come Newbill and Marshall again.
Well, this Michigan club is 4th in the country, but they're doing it with 6 freshmen, including this trio.
And this is an outstanding group. Stauskas, more than just a three-point shooter. Glenn Robinson III runs the floor extremely well, can complete at the rim or from the perimeter. And McGarry has really been a nice surprise along that front line. He's been invaluable, particularly with the recent injuries to Morgan.
Newbill back in there for offense along with Marshall, and it is saved to Newbill.
Nice hustle by Colella.
This is Colella for 3. Rattled out. Rebound to Horford. Now Newbill and Marshall are playing defense with 2 fouls each.
Oh boy, Newbill was very close to getting a third there.
Burke from the corner. That ends a 7-minute drought for Michigan without a field goal. But Trey Burke is still the only Wolverine with a field goal in this game as he has 10 points.
And with Newbill and Marshall in the ball game, look for Penn State to go back to that 2-3. They have to really protect those guys. They can't afford them isolated man-to-man on an island.
Well, when you're Penn State and you're 0-12 in the Big Ten, you're going to gamble a little.
Absolutely. You keep those guys out there and do the situational substitutions, try to buy some time.
This is Marshall, 4 to shoot.
Nice.
Tried to feed Borodniak, picked off on the deflection.
Much better team defense and good help right there. Active hands by Michigan.
Good fake. Stauskas. Still no other field goals except Burke. Bielfeldt inside. The kick out, Stauskas. He rims it, and Marshall with the rebound. Can you believe it? Outside of Trey Burke, the Michigan Wolverines are shooting as Taylor misses it. You take away Trey Burke, and Michigan field goal-wise is 0 for 9. Hardaway ends that drought.
And that was really, it started with a poor shot selection by Taylor, Tom. It was an early 3. He didn't force Michigan to expend early effort. Long shot, long rebound, effectively serving as kind of an outlet pass for Tim Hardaway Jr. Then you don't stop the ball. That's a potential 5-point swing in Michigan's favor there.
And maybe that gets Tim Hardaway Jr. going again, Sean.
It sure does. And, you know, if you're Taylor, you're a freshman. We've talked about it. You have to understand time, score, and the flow of the ball game. You can get that shot anytime. You want to make sure you have forced Michigan to exert themselves on the defensive end.
Well, get involved in the Twitter conversation around our game. Go to btn.com/connect. Don't forget to use the hashtags. You'll find them periodically in the lower right corner of our score strip. 8:23 left first half. Penn State with an 18-16 lead on Michigan. The Wolverines ranked 4th in the country. They have not lost this season at the Chrysler Center. In fact, Michigan is 29-1 in this building the last 2 seasons. So Penn State has done a marvelous job here in the first 12 minutes of this game.
And you look on the floor right now. Oh, nice. Excellent job by Penn State. Out of the timeout. Borodniak, a really good job of coming up. And didn't even really set a screen. Had a breakdown defensively in terms of communication by Michigan. I was getting ready to say only 2 starters right now on the floor for the Michigan Wolverines. And they just broke down in terms of communicating. That allowed Borodniak to roll right to the rim.
Now Trey Burke on that Michigan bench taking his offensive game with him. Meanwhile, Borodniak has started to become a 3rd offensive option for Pat Chambers' Nittany Lions. He had 14 the other night against Iowa. They lost by just 2 points, but Pat Chambers said we played almost a perfect game and still lost.
This is a team that's 11th in the conference in turnover margin, but last time out only 6 miscues at home versus the Iowa Hawkeyes. They also usually struggle shooting the 3 ball, but they were 8 of 17 from behind the arc in that ball game.
Stauskas put it on the floor and drew the foul on the drive. Ross Travis picks up his first.
Nice little shot fake, gets Taylor. The cameraman took the charge.
6th team foul on Penn State, but a shooting foul for this dynamite freshman out of Ontario, Canada. 83% free throw shooter. And again, this is like a football game, offense for defense, with Newbill and Marshall coming in when Penn State's going to get the ball.
Really smart. Getting your two best scores in there, and then when you can, getting them out. Again, we talked about it, Tom. That's usually something you see toward the end of the ball game, but this foul situation has dictated you had to go to that strategy much earlier than you might usually see. And Michigan's showing a little bit of a, I thought it was a zone, but it is a straight man.
Newbill driving, slicing through, didn't get it to go, but it was tipped up and in by Marshall, who has 9.
Nice job by Newbill. We talked about at the top of the show the importance of hitting the offensive glass. This is a team in Penn State last in the conference in field goal percentage at 38%, but when you can clean up your own misses, it increases your margin for error.
Down on the baseline, Horford kicks it out to Albrecht. Stauskas, good pump fake, still missed it. Rebound, Ross Travis. That's his third board. Penn State with the ball, a 5-point Nittany Lion lead, 7:10 to play in the half. Horford almost to steal. Marshall trying to call a timeout. Jump ball, possession arrow favors Penn State. So the Penn State Nittany Lions, they haven't had a road win since November of 2011. Look at this score. Penn State with a 23-18 lead in Ann Arbor with 7:04 to play. Patrick Chambers is in his second year at Penn State. He has already made a huge impact with the basketball program, but also in the community. And he donated $10 for every dancer at the Penn State Dance Marathon, which benefits children's pediatric cancer. He personally wrote his own check for $14,200. That dance continuing this weekend in State College. It'll raise close to $11 million. But Patrick Chambers, certainly a big part of that community.
And that's, so many times I think people look at intercollegiate athletics as almost being a self-standing entity, and in many ways they are, but they are part of a larger campus community. And Coach Chambers, to recognize that and participate in such a meaningful way, it's only going to pay dividends for the program as well as the university.
Hardaway, the kick into the corner. He also shaved all of his hair off, as they have that adage, no hair, don't care, as they're there with the children fighting children's cancer. Hardaway from the wing, airballed it, down with it, Glenn Robinson, missed the layup, but was fouled. And that's going to go against Borodniak, and that'll be his first 17.
And if you're Penn State, even though you're in a zone defense, you're in that back line, Brandon Taylor just kind of fell asleep. He didn't look for a white jersey, and that allowed Glenn Robinson III to come from that right wing and come in there and clean up the mess.
At the line, Glenn Robinson III, a 67% free throw shooter, rattles in the first. 4-point Penn State lead as Nick Colella is in it. And here's how things are today for Penn State. Because of the foul trouble for Newbill and Marshall, Nick Colella and Kevin Montminy are two walk-ons that are now playing in the backcourt major minutes. And yet, they're up 4. Newbill on the drive.
Dribble penetration here in the last 6 minutes has really hurt Michigan, Tom. That's the second time Newbill's been able to get to the rim and complete with the right hand. It started with Colella a few possessions prior to that with the left.
Oh, my! Glenn Robinson III. That's the way to counter. That'll get the crowd back into it. 25-21. Penn State's taking this crowd out of it. Newbill again. Is it a charge? It is his third. That's the danger.
That is really, you cannot fault the aggressiveness of Newbill. He turns the corner. Ooh, boy, well, I don't know. That's a tough one to have go against you if you're Newbill, particularly for your third. You have to have a lot of things go your way if you're Penn State to pull off. Watch it. I thought that they were rotating in a little bit under. Levert was a little bit late, but nevertheless, now you really have no choice. You have to keep Newbill over there on the bench regardless of what kind of defense you're playing.
Hardaway kicks it back out. Burke This is LeVert. Back to Burke, 17 to shoot. Michigan down 4. Inside McGarry in traffic. Oh, what a look. What a look from McGarry to Robinson.
Well, he didn't catch it cleanly, but he delivered it cleanly.
Their roommates, Sean, they've got a very good feeling for each other's moves. And that was an outstanding no-look pass from McGarry to his buddy.
McGarry's going to tell him, hey, you got to pick up the pizza the next time. That's a foul on McGarry, I would think.
Well, he just hammered Colella. Hard to get away with that one.
For a Buick drive to the hoop, the last time down the floor, getting in the middle of the lane is McGarry. Excellent peripheral vision right there. Finding his fellow freshman, Glenn Robinson III, for the finish in our Buick drive to the hoop.
First foul on McGarry, 6th on Michigan. Colella finds a wide open Borovniak.
So how about, that's the second time we've seen Colella find Borovniak on the slip. That was a tough catch for Borovniak. The pass was a little low, but good vision by Colella to find him. And Colella giving valuable production with the foul trouble that Marshall and Newbill find themselves in.
Sean, Penn State has a dozen of its 27 points in the paint. They're not an inside-oriented team.
And it's been dribble penetration and that little slip screen up top, which has been the predominance of those points.
Burke for 3. Good, strong rebound by Ross Travis, who averages 7 boards a game, tops for Penn State. And the Nittany Lions are out-rebounding Michigan today, 16 to 10. And lead by 4, just over 4 minutes to play. Trap out front. Penn State finding it, blocking foul, a bonus. Oh, Hardaway didn't like the call, and he better be careful, slamming his fist to the floor. His second personal, he almost picked up a tee.
Nice job off the skip pass. Dribble penetration has paid dividends for Penn State. Travis senses that, puts the ball on the floor, draws the contact. He will shoot a 1 in the bonus. This is a team in the Nittany Lions, Tom, not a great foul shooting team, about 70%. Travis himself about 62.
Ross Travis, a 6'6" sophomore from Chaska, Minnesota, suburb of the Twin Cities. Knocks down that first. Boy, the Nittany Lions sure not playing like a winless team in the Big Ten. Coach Pat Chambers said today, look, I know it's hard for the average fan to see it, but we're getting better. We're making progress. What they need now is a win to solidify that.
You need something to validate the hard work that this team is putting in. I mean, this team is playing extremely hard. I have so much respect for how all these players play, but DJ Newbill has had to play every role possible with the absence of Tim Frazier. He's had to move over to the point guard. That's not necessarily his best position. He's had to guard the other guy's best offensive player, and the fact that he's on the bench with that foul trouble, and Penn State finds themselves down now 3, or up 3 rather, that's a testament to how his teammates have stepped up and kind of answered the call.
Terrific drive by the freshman Nick Stauskas. He has 4. Michigan back to within 3 with 3:20 to play. This is another walk-on. Kevin Montminy with the ball. Graham on the block. Travis, tough shot. Got it to go.
That's a nice 2-man game between Graham and Travis. Graham did a good job of not panicking when the defensive double team was coming at him, and Travis, wonderful job of moving without the ball to make himself available.
Nobody told the Nittany Lions this is a celebration for Michigan this weekend. They are trying to spoil the party. Burke, oh my, way out of kilter on that shot. Travis, another rebound. Nittany Lions up 5 with 2:40 to play. And you can see their confidence growing, Sean. Travis, a little strong on it. Ball knocked out front. It's going to be run down by McGarry. To Stauskas. And an intentional foul on Kevin Montminy. That'll be 2 free throws and Michigan basketball.
It started with the hustle by Mitch McGary, giving it up, and then the presence of mind to look behind him, kick it, the throw ahead. Stauskas takes it to the rim. He'll shoot a couple with the ball when we come back. Penn State up 5.
Here's our Buffalo Wild Wings slow-mo breakdown, Sean.
Watch Mitch McGary. He lays out, has the presence of mind to kick it back. That allows the breakout opportunity in the open floor for the Michigan Wolverines. That's a 6'9" guy giving it up. Excellent pass by Glenn Robinson III to Stauskas. That leads to a flagrant 1, which will be 2 shots and the ball for the Wolverines. Excellent team ball by Glenn Robinson III. How many times do you see a guy, when he catches the ball, he'll put the ball on the floor just out of habit? He doesn't do that. He's looking ahead and leading Stauskas right to the rim. Now this has the chance to be a big play in any number of ways, not just for the points that the Michigan Wolverines have a chance to put up, but that was a big momentum play and a hustle play by Mitch McGary. Might have kind of stemmed the tide and swung the momentum the other way, not just from a point standpoint, but from an effort and attitude standpoint for Michigan.
Sean, I bet you could forecast down the road that guy, when it's all said and done in Ann Arbor, will be one of the all-time favorite players in Michigan basketball history. The way he plays the game, plus he's got a lot of skill.
Absolutely. The maintenance guys are going to love him because they don't ever have to mop the floor. He does it with his jersey. I like it.
Michigan with the ball, down 30-27, 2:15 to play. This is McGary, the freshman out of Chesterton, Indiana. Nice backdoor cut and a foul.
That's the second time that McGary has found Glenn Robinson III. We saw it earlier when he dove into the lane, and then the little slip pass and the dunk by Robinson. Here, he doesn't panic. McGary is out about 35 feet away from the rim, doesn't panic, keeps the ball high. Look where he keeps the ball here. Boom, it's over his head. He sees Glenn Robinson III. Robinson senses that the defender from Penn State was ball watching, goes to the rim. His teammate finds him.
That's the 13th free throw attempt for Michigan. In the previous 2 games, they shot a grand total of 8 free throws. So they're getting to the line today, and because of that, they're still very much in this game, or they might be in deep, deep trouble. Instead, Penn State with the ball in a 2-point lead and 2 minutes to play.
And if you're Penn State, with the way the momentum has swung since that play by McGary, Tom, you want to work as much of this clock as you possibly can. You do not want to take a quick shot that could lead to a breakout opportunity for the Wolverines. And I like what Travis did there. He's given them a nice lift. Colella, from the perimeter standpoint, had done it. And Travis has stepped up and kind of answered the bell offensively as well.
That's his second teammate.
Nice little square-up move. Inside pivot, somewhere Jack Sigma is smiling.
Mitch McGary is not. That's his second personal, and at the line is Ross Travis. State Farm will bring you the halftime report. Mike Hall and Mike DeCourcy will join you from our Chicago studios and get you caught up on everything in the Big Ten. Stay tuned. The State Farm halftime report. 1:47 to play in this first half. A stunner in Ann Arbor. Penn State with a 32-28 lead over 4th-ranked Michigan, which hasn't lost all season here at the Chrysler Center. And Penn State doing this despite DJ Newdell on the bench with 3 fouls, and Jermaine Marshall, his backcourt mate, on the bench with 2 personals, and those guys averaged 31 points a game between them.
And they have been over there for a while.
And now walk-on backup guard Kevin Montminy picks up his second. And there are Newdell, number 2, and Marshall, number 11. They have to score 30 a game, according to Pat Chambers, for Penn State to have any chance to win. Well, they can't score with foul trouble. And Burke in the double bonus.
Last time out for the Nittany Lions at home against Iowa. Newdell 26, Marshall 14. Marshall also chipping in 10 assists in that game.
Trey Burke having a solid first half, as Burke has a dozen. Just 1 assist so far. Michigan now back to within 2 with 1:25 to play. Nick Colella with the ball. This is Travis.
Good help by Horford. Nice job by Horford of helping out his teammate there when Travis went into the lane.
Montminy and Kalala, two walk-on guards now patrolling the backcourt. Travis, tough shot, short, rebound, Trey Burke. Here come the Wolverines in transition. Hanging, scoring is Trey Burke.
And again, Tom, what direction was he going when he made that play? It's uncanny what that young man can do going to his left.
Penn State with a timeout. Michigan, thanks to Trey Burke's heroics, back to a 32-32 tie.
Open floor. Watch him go to that. That is such a difficult shot. Had to reload and hit it on the way down. And that really caps the momentum that started when McGarry gave his body up in the open floor and got that breakout opportunity and the two foul shots and then the ball when Stauskas took the flagrant one.
Last time this game was tied, it was 9-9. Penn State has led by as many as 8. Michigan's biggest lead today has been 3. But again, Sean, I know it's redundant, but doesn't this point out how great this conference is? Last place Penn State, giving the former #1 team in the country everything it can handle in Ann Arbor.
It speaks to the quality, talking about quality, the elite company that Trey Burke finds himself in. Magic Johnson, I think he did okay for himself. I think Magic Johnson went on and had a nice career. But it's to your point, Tom, what we're seeing is the depth. It speaks to the quality of the depth of this league, and it also speaks to the quality of the effort that Penn State is putting forth. You know, there wouldn't be many people that would blame a team that is 0-12 coming on the road on a Sunday afternoon after suffering a disappointing loss if they came out and kind of mailed it in. That has not been the case. This team has overcome a lot of obstacles here, particularly in the first half, most notably foul trouble.
And Jermaine Marshall was put back into the game for that offensive possession. He's playing with 2 fouls. He cannot afford his third as Michigan plays for the final shot and calls a timeout with just under 15 seconds to play. John Beilein's club just went through a 20-day stretch in which they played 7 games. Now they have 1 game in the next 11 days. A chance, as he said, to regroup, to finally practice and work on some of their shortcomings.
You almost do a little bit of self-scouting because in that period of time, Tom, to your point, you're so much wrapped up in preparing for the next opponent, you may not have the opportunity to kind of break down where your own team is either excelling or having some shortcomings. They have that opportunity now as you take a look at the next 5 games for the Michigan Wolverines. Some dandies in there as well, but at least when you take a look at it, you have Illinois and Michigan State and Indiana all at home. And Indiana, the Hoosiers about ready to embark on a very similar streak to what Michigan just came out the back end of.
And as great a year as Michigan is having, they are the 8th youngest team in all of college basketball. And yet here they are 21-4, ranked 4th in the country. And Pat Chambers, wait until next season. What a job he's done this year despite losing Tim Frazier. And you put Tim Frazier in the backcourt with Newbill and Marshall. And Penn State is going to be some kind of ball club next season.
And because of the experience that Newbill is getting at running the point, it may allow them the flexibility to at times move Frazier off the ball. I mean, you can experiment and do a number of things, so there may be a potential silver lining. It's hard for Penn State to see it now, but there may be a silver lining with Newbill having to play the point.
Burke, 3 to shoot. This is Hardaway. Short on the shot, and that's the way the first half ends. Maybe this is the way it should end. It's appropriate that Penn State has come out and taken every punch that Michigan can deliver. And they look like they're playing for the Big Ten title.
I'll tell you what, they're trying to maintain that effort going into the locker room. Looking forward to the next 20 minutes.
We are tied as we take it to the Big Ten studios. Our State Farm halftime report. Mike and Mike, guys. This Sunday matinee has been a beauty. Michigan and Penn State tied at 32. And time now for the Reese's perfect combination.
And for the Penn State Nittany Lions, they needed someone to answer the call offensively with the foul trouble that Newbill and Jermaine Marshall found themselves in. And Ross Travis and Borobniak both contributing 7 points in that first 20 minutes. Bear in mind, Tom, this is a duo that came in averaging 6 points a game apiece, so they've already surpassed their usual performance.
Well, you talked about your keys at the outset, Sean.
Really getting back. They took away fast break opportunities for the Wolverines, but taking care of the basketball did harm Penn State for periods of time. Glenn Robinson III, 8 points, 4 rebounds, very solid first half. And Michigan did not get off to a quick start, and as a result, you could see Penn State's confidence continue to grow throughout the first 20 minutes.
And Sean, a change. Michigan's Jordan Morgan, who started this game, the 6'8" junior front line man, not on the floor. Instead, it's John Horford. Maybe that ankle bothering him again, or maybe John Beilein didn't think he was effective. Newbill driving, had it blocked. Saved by Borobniak, but then he hit the underside of the backboard. Now remember, for Penn State, DJ Newbill, their outstanding do-everything point guard, is playing with 3 personals.
And Marshall has 2. And now he's drawing the assignment up top with Tim Hardaway Jr.
Nice back 32. Well, it's not tied anymore.
Beautiful job by Horford of coming up and setting that back screen. That allowed Robinson III to come off shoulder to shoulder. That was an outstanding play by Michigan.
Robinson with a dunk, a turnover, Michigan in transition. That's when they're at their best, but they don't convert. What effort by Borobniak, and it belongs to Penn State. Did they get it? Yes, they did. Nittany Lions have it.
That's Borobniak. We saw Mitch McGary do it in the first half for the Wolverines, and Borobniak goes down on the floor. You saw a lot of other players in both color jerseys kind of reaching over for it. Borobniak gave his body up, went down to the deck. As a result, Penn State will get possession.
Penn State's never trailed by more than 3. Travis driving, nowhere to go.
Nice job by Horford. Again, 2 solid plays by Horford.
Here's Stauskas. Oh, that was pretty routine. But Michigan has its biggest lead, and Pat Chambers knows how critical this possession becomes. 36-32 Wolverines. They've started out quickly in the second half. Skip past Colella for 3. Didn't get the bounce. Hardaway Jr. with the rebound. Michigan trying to seize control of this game. They've trailed by as many as 8. They now have their biggest lead at 4. Stauskas driving. Stauskas fouled. He'll shoot 2. Michigan looks a little more energized, Sean.
They came out with a sense of urgency and purpose, particularly on the defensive end of the floor. And John Horford has also given them a big lift on both ends. He started with a nice screen, which allowed Glenn Robinson III to get to the rim for a completion. And then defensively did a nice job of helping out when it looked like Travis might be able to get to the rim and complete.
Well, let's take a look at today's All-State Mayhem Index. It was Penn State's defense there in the first half.
Holding Michigan to 36% shooting. This is a team in the Wolverines that came in shooting 49% as a squad on the year. Good for second in the conference in that category.
6 unanswered by Michigan to start the second half. Michigan with its biggest lead. And Penn State cannot afford to fall a whole lot further back. From the corner, Marshall with a miss. Another John Horford rebound, had it poked out of bounds. Michigan basketball.
I think they may have a conference here. This may stay down here.
They are conversing, and it is overruled. DJ Carstensen convinced John Higgins that it was Penn State basketball.
Watch the offering here. Bunch of players going up in traffic. Yeah, it looked like Glenn Robinson III might have poked that out of there at the last minute.
So it's 17:36 to play.
He looked like he might have lost the contact.
Yeah. Glenn Robinson III. He hasn't needed his contacts with 3 of those dunks, as he's been much more effective today than he was in East Lansing when he was held to 2 points. Indiana, Michigan State. They've got their showdown looming. And then 2 games back, including these Michigan Wolverines, which is why John Beilein stated this is a huge game for Michigan. You can't lose at home. Travis, nowhere to go.
A good team defense by Michigan there.
And Sean, in the first half, that's where Penn State thrived.
They were able to get around the primary defender, get all the way to the rim and complete, but Michigan has remedied that here in the second half. Oh, beautiful.
What a look. Barovniak to Newbill, and Newbill was fouled. And oh, did Penn State need that pick-me-up.
One of the oldest plays in this great game of basketball. The give and the go.
How about that? Excellent third on Jordan Morgan, excuse me.
We've talked about spacing the floor, little scissor cut, see Barovniak, then the dive. Excellent job of sharing the basketball, and that's a tough pass for the big guy. He had to take enough off of it, and he wanted to lead Newbill toward the rim. Good scissor cut up top, off the high post feed to Barovniak.
3-point play by DJ Newbill. And Newbill now with 6, and Penn State cuts the lead in half with the old-fashioned 3-point play. Little trap, but Michigan handles it.
And with that foul trouble, the Nittany Lions go into that 2-3 zone. They cannot allow someone to get behind this back line of defense. Robinson III really hurt them a couple of times in the first half or something like that.
Brandon Taylor with the bump. That'll be his first. Well, today on BTN, it's the Hockey City Classic. It's from Soldiers Field in Chicago. The Badgers and Gophers pregame at 4 Eastern, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Minnesota's second in the country. Well, and Minnesota and Wisconsin hockey, that's much like Michigan-Ohio State football. Deflected, and Barovniak has it for the Nittany Lions. Just the 3rd Michigan turnover, as the Michigan Wolverines are 2nd in the country in fewest turnovers per game. Brandon Taylor. And just like that, we're back to even.
He hit one of those in the first half, and you thought it was a little bit quick. Now, if that doesn't go in, he may be permanently attached to the bench, because that's going to be a breakout opportunity for Michigan if it doesn't find the bottom of the well.
Nick Stauskas, the freshman, a 48% three-point shooter. He shoots threes better than some guys shoot layups.
Oh, good trap.
Ahead to Burt. Five-point Michigan outburst.
And many times, Tom, it's not just the turnover itself, but where the turnover is committed.
Yeah.
It was committed right out here at the half court, led to an easy transition basket for Michigan.
Good point. 5-point Michigan lead. 4.5 minutes into the second half. Marshall spinning and got bumped by Hardaway. And that's the 3rd on Tim Hardaway Jr. And that could be significant. So we've got a timeout. One of the best shooting freshmen in college basketball is Nick Stauskas. That long rainbow helps give Michigan a 5-point lead. Well, tonight, don't miss an all-new episode of The Journey. Big Ten Basketball 2013 will take you behind the scenes of the Big Ten. Tonight at 9:30 Eastern, presented by Chase Freedom. The Mays Rage enjoying the Sunday matinee. As always now, and we never used to say that, but it's always a sellout now at the newly refurbished Chrysler Center. It's quickly become one of the best basketball arenas in college basketball. The atmosphere, the intimacy, and it's part of why these 3 freshmen came to Ann Arbor. And boy, are they good.
And if you're Michigan, the production that they've gotten today from Glenn Robinson III, that's a positive sign after his recent 4-game struggles. Mitch McGary, no points, but I go back to that first half. That hustle play that he made really switched the momentum into Michigan's favor with that kick out to Stauskas in the flagrant 1.
Jermaine Marshall, who had 9 points in the first half, but only played 11 minutes because of foul trouble. Now with 10 points, make it 11. And Penn State claws back to within 3. 15-21 left in this ballgame. Fourth-ranked Michigan. Third in the Big Ten with Ohio State and Wisconsin. 2 games in back in Michigan State and Indiana. The Wolverines, for Big Ten title hopes, this is a must-win.
You have to hold home serve. Michigan trying to do that today, but Penn State giving them everything they want and more thus far.
Oh, a blocking foul underneath on Nick Colella. He tried to draw the charge. He didn't get the call.
That's the shot fake. Stauskas, those 2 of them there. Kind of a bang-bang play. He might not have had that right foot down.
Stauskas driving, leaving it for Burke. Man. Just a little fadeaway by Trey Burke, and he has 19. He averages 18 a game, which is second in the Big Ten, second only to Ohio State's Deshaun Thomas.
Well, with Newbill out of the ballgame, they're really trying to play through Borodniak at the high post or down there on the block.
Travis from the baseline. Knocked out of bounds by Brandon Taylor, Michigan basketball.
Other end of the floor. Trey Burke steps, throws the ball in. He's going to come in and be the ultimate beneficiary on the shot fake by Stauskas. It's that old basketball adage, Tom. The most dangerous guy on the floor in an out-of-bounds situation is the trigger man. Because people just instinctually turn their head and lose sight of him, and Trey Burke shows what happens.
Stauskas with a long alley-oop. Robinson with his 4th dunk, and now Robinson with a dozen.
That pass hung up there before I came down with moisture on it.
Biggest Michigan lead. Quick shot, Brandon Taylor. It's Michigan basketball.
Last time down the floor, again, Michigan spreading Penn State out defensively. And we talked about the importance of that zone defense, of not losing sight of someone like Glenn Robinson III. He got a little bit of a screen, not a tremendous one, but if you're Penn State, you have to talk cutters through. They don't do it there.
Sean, was that a called play, or did they just run that on instinct?
I think they recognized it, but they did get enough of a back screen that it was probably something they were looking for, trying to screen that between the 2 lines of defense.
Good rebound by Marshall on the Burke miss. Again, Penn State in a danger zone. Colella on the baseline. Newbill in traffic. Travis got the bounce. Ross Travis having a nice game.
He really is. And I tell you what, people at home may say, hey, that was an easy shot. It's 4 feet away. That's one of the more difficult shots there is, because so many times you're afraid of leaving it short. You'll see a guy put it off the back of the heel of the rim because they don't want to short arm it.
On the drive, Robinson, the kick into the corner. Levert, knuckleball won't go. Borodniak lost it. Driving, score, and a foul. And Robinson is having a huge day after 2 points the other night in East Lansing.
Yeah, it's really important for his confidence that he sees the ball go through the basket, and he does right there. And that's big in another way, and then it's another foul on Jermaine Marshall.
So at the line, Glenn Robinson III. And he makes it a 3-point play. And he has 15. And Michigan has its biggest lead, 51-42.
Tom, we talked about the importance of Glenn Robinson III kind of getting things going, and he has done that and then some. Getting to the rim, his teammates have made a concerted effort to get him involved, and it's very important for that freshman to see the ball go through the hoop, and he has done that today.
Oh, what a big triple by Nick Colella, the walk-on captain. And Michigan's lead down to 6 under 12 and a half to play. Stauskas with a crossover, lost his footing. McGarry. And Stauskas couldn't handle it. It'll be Penn State basketball.
Ball to Penn State.
51-45. Michigan's lead is 6. But Penn State, even Sean, when they look like they're on the verge of maybe being knocked out of this one, have been able to bounce back.
Especially on the offensive end, when they have forced Michigan to exert some energy. When they've gotten themselves in trouble, Tom, it's when they've taken quick threes. allowing breakout opportunities for the Wolverines.
DJ Newbill missing on the shot. Ball banged loose. Volleyballed out to Trey Burke. Michigan with numbers. Burke on the lob. What a highlight show those two are. Jermaine Marshall way too quick. Borobniak the putback and a big putback. 53-47. Michigan up 6. They've had so many highlight jams, it feels like their lead is more than 6.
Penn State was very fortunate there, Tom. The Borobniak came up with that offensive rebound. That was a very quick shot by Marshall.
Glenn Robinson is 6 for 6 shooting. Of course, 5 have been dunks. Trey Burke. Rebound, Jermaine Marshall. And once again, here come the Nittany Lions with 11 to play. Colella from the corner. Another big triple.
And how about the pass cross-court by Newbill in the open floor, looking to skip pass over the top, put it right where Colella could do something with it.
So Michigan's lead's down to 3. The Nittany Lions aren't going anywhere. And when we come back, one of the all-time greats will join us. Cassie Russell used to shoot just like that. Under 11 to play, Michigan leads Penn State 53-50. We are joined by one of Michigan's greatest and one of college basketball's greatest, the legendary Cassie Russell. And Cassie, this is the house you built. You never got to play in it. Now it's been refurbished, and there's a great mural of you out in the hallways. What did you think when you first saw that picture of yourself?
Boy, Tom, when I came up the escalator, I was told that there was going to be a rededication, but I was not told that I was going to be on the wall. Of course, that picture was taken the summer prior to my senior year in '65 by Wayne DeNeff from the Ann Arbor News. And I thought I was going to play in the arena my senior year, but something happened. The roof was cracked. But what a great tribute, and it's just a real blessing to be a part of history.
And what does that mean when they say the house that Cassie built? You're the guy that re-energized Michigan basketball. That's why they had to build an arena.
Well, when they say the house that Cassie built, there's a lot that went into that. There were a lot of great teammates of mine in '64, '65. I didn't build that by myself, so just really a part that they feel that they're a part of it also. It's a great tribute.
Michigan with the basketball and a 3-point lead. And a whistle away. That's going to be a charge on the Michigan Wolverines. That'll be the second on Glenn Robinson, and we'll have Cassie stay with us as we've got another timeout. The Nittany Lions have regained momentum. 53-50, fourth-ranked Michigan with a 3-point lead on Penn State. And we are back with the legendary Cassie Russell, who's been brought in here with so many other Michigan greats. The rededication of Chrysler Arena, and really a rejuvenation for this basketball program, Cassie.
Well, I think so, and of course, Coach Beeline and the athletic director have reached out to the former players, and we're just really happy to be a part of it, and reminded that we are a part of tradition and history. Coach is doing a great job.
They've done a great job bringing you guys back, haven't they, and making you feel a part of it.
Yes, and the guys have commented on that. Phil Hubbard, Glenn Rice, even my teammates, John Clausen and Tommy, and these guys have talked about that. So this has been a great weekend for us, Tom. It's really been great. It's been a blessing.
Cassie is one of the greats, not only just in Michigan basketball history, but in college basketball history. When you look at this young Michigan squad, what kind of hops out at you about this current edition of the Wolverines?
Well, again, I think one of the greatest assets this club has is their ability to run the floor. I'm a little concerned now about the other team getting offensive rebounds because it doesn't help us in our running game, but they've done a great job. Burke is great. Of course, Hardaway Jr. is great. And they need more of an inside presence, so once we get that going, I think we'll be okay. But they've done a great job with this club, and I'm so proud of them living in Savannah because now I can talk about the Big Ten all the time.
I think everybody in the country is talking about Big Ten basketball, and there they have numbers, just what you talked about, Cassie.
Yes, and I think if we can get more rebounding down here and stop the offensive rebounding by the other team, it will help us in our running game. And I think Michigan is one of their biggest assets, as I said, is being able to run the ball up the floor, push it up the floor with Burke at the point.
Matt Vogrich at the line. He's 2 for 2 all season now. This is his 3rd free throw attempt of the year, and he's 3 for 3.
All right.
And Michigan with a 55-50 lead. 10-15 to play. They look to trap.
Michigan showing a little bit of a zone defense here now.
Penn State's given the Wolverines everything that they can handle. Deflected out of bounds. Otherwise, Nick Colella was spotting up in that corner again.
But a good recognition because that play worked a few possessions ago, Tom. Good recognition by Glenn Robinson III to slide to the baseline and take that away.
DJ Newbill on the inbounds. Jermaine Marshall got it. Kazzy, you were a college coach, or are you just retired now, just enjoying the game?
Yes, sir. I was a head coach at Savannah College of Art and Design for 13 years. They discontinued the sport 3 years ago, so I'm in the ministry. I'm also an associate pastor, so that keeps me pretty busy. So.
Before we let you go, your greatest memories from being a Wolverine. What do you think of when you first think of Michigan and your time here?
Well, my first thing I remember is that I never got a chance to see the inside of Yost on my initial visit. The coach supposedly lost the keys.
That's a smart coach.
Yes, but great memories, great floor at Yost. You know, almost like they have a student body here now. That's the way they were at Yost. Great support, great teammates, and just fond memories. Just thinking about being here at Michigan.
Well, we want to thank you for all the memories you brought all of us fans. You were something special.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed playing.
Kazzy Russell joining us. Kazzy, thanks again so much. Boy, is it great to have him and so many of these great Michigan players back in the house that Kazzy built. Penn State, Graham driving the baseline, nowhere to go. Michigan with a 3-point lead, 9:18 to play. Marshall for the tie, too strong. Rebound cleared by Robinson, and a foul is going to go against John Horford. I beg your pardon, it's going against Glenn Robinson, and that's his third.
You can see in the lane right here, there's Robinson. Shot goes up.
I correct myself, Sean. They called it. We thought on Horford, but they're listing it as Robinson.
I thought it was Horford.
Yeah.
Well, there was a 1 in there.
Bottom line is this. It's a 1-point game. Michigan with a lead and the ball under 9 to play. They did give the foul to Robinson. That gives him 3. One of the keys this second half, DJ Newbill has not picked up his 4th for Penn State. And Tim Hardaway Jr., just his 2nd field goal in the game. He has 5. Michigan back up 3 with 8.5 to play.
That was reminiscent of Dr. J going on one side of the rim and coming up the other way.
Ross Travis, short on the shot. And it's Michigan basketball.
Back to the game now for your Wolverines, number 4, Mitch McGarry.
Good ball movement by the Wolverines, and a tough shot.
He is such an athlete. Tim Hardaway Jr. out of Miami. Of course, his dad was something special, both collegiately and in the NBA.
Hey, he's also a guy, Tom, we've always known about his offensive prowess. I think he's developed much better shot selection as a junior. He's an underrated defender.
He is.
I mean, they put him on some guys. DJ Bird comes to mind here against Purdue. He just is taking guys out of the ballgame with his length.
Stauskas got a chance to spot up. And Trey Burke found him. Stauskas has 16. 1 of 3 from Michigan with 16 points or more. Wolverines back up 6, deflected out of bounds by Robinson. So as we head to break, once again, momentum has swung Michigan's way. Burke finds Stauskas. Wolverines by 6. BTN Basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy. What will you do in 5 hours? Also in part by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. And by Case IH. Be ready with agronomic design from Case IH. Visit caseih.com/agronomic design. Another legendary Wolverine, Glenn Rice, who took Michigan to the national championship in 1989. He's watched his alma mater surge back on top by 6 with under 8 to play. Well, you played against Glenn Rice. What made him so special?
Well, let's clarify. I was on the same floor as he was. I'm not sure if I could say I played against him, but that was a guy that every time it left his hands, you thought it was going in. I mean, he was the sort of player, Tom, that you would go and just watch him at shoot around just because of the pureness of his jump shot. And you would have to really go way back to find someone that had a better run in the NCAA tournament that he did during that 1989 run, where he really put that Wolverine squad on his back and led them to the championship over Seton Hall.
Man, could he play. And Jermaine Marshall just cut the deficit to 4. Burke hanging in the air, drew the foul. It'll be the 3rd on Travis. Don't forget that the Golden Gophers will take on the Hawkeyes in Iowa City. That's next. Then at 7:30 Eastern, it's Illinois and Northwestern. All presented by 5-Hour Energy. Michigan 4th in the country. 3rd in the Big Ten with a 60-56 lead over Penn State. Nittany Lions still winless in Big Ten play, but they have played like a champ today. And Trey Burke playing like a national contender for Player of the Year honors. Man, he is having another great game. 20 points, 4 assists, and no turnovers. And that's standard for him. You know, leads the conference in assists. But when you consider the fact how much the ball is in his hands, and he has an almost 4-to-1 assist turnover ratio, that's phenomenal. And he's only a sophomore. Yes. Once again, Michigan looking to deliver a knockout punch. One thing we've learned today, Penn State does not have a glass jaw. Borodniak banging with McGarry. Roll goes to Glenn Robinson. Even though that is an empty possession, you can live with that shot by Borodniak. He's played very well today. Hardaway. And all of a sudden, his game has come back to life. Biggest Michigan lead. It's at 9. We talked about the importance of Glenn Robinson III kind of getting his offensive mojo back. He has done that. Hardaway Jr. needed it as well, coming off a 1 of 11 performance versus Michigan State. Careless turnover on Penn State's part. They got a second possession. Didn't capitalize. Pat Chambers knows his club has to be near perfect to win. Now watch the court awareness by Trey Burke. Dribbles to the baseline. That allows Hardaway to fan out, and the bounce pass goes right to the waist and right into the shooting pocket for Hardaway. Good block by Ross Travis. Nittany Lions in transition. Newbill on the drive and scores to cut it to 7. Really good job in the open floor by Newbill of understanding that the primary defender, in that case Hardaway Jr., was backpedaling and attacking him. Hardaway Jr. cognizant of the fact he also has 3 fouls, gave it up. Newbill, who's been plagued by foul trouble, has 8. That's half of his per-game average. Look for Stauskas. Boy, when he gets an open look, he doesn't miss many. He missed that one. Inside, Ross Travis, in and out. Robinson, another big rebound. His 7th. That was a really good job by Penn State of running the secondary break, but Travis not able to knock down that little baby hook, following up a possession a couple times down the floor ago from Borodniak, also left one a little short. How did Burke split that defense? But he did, and the foul is on Jermaine Marshall. That's his 3rd.
Penn State foul on number 11, Jermaine Marshall.
To your point, Tom, like so many other sports, low man wins. He got down. He got the ball out in front of him. You saw the 2 defenders kind of straighten up when he had that hesitation. He got down low. That's why he was able to navigate that really tight space. 8 fouls on Penn State, 4 on Michigan. That's nothing new. Nobody has a bigger deficit at the foul line this year in Big Ten play than Penn State. And nobody fouls less in the country than Michigan. That foul, though, does go against
Penn State foul.
Penn State's Nick Colella.
That's his third.
That's his third, 9th team.
At the line now to shoot.
So 1-1 for Mitch McGarry, who got a big offensive rebound. Boy, they can't capitalize. Newbill driving on Stauskas. Oh, a charge on Newbill, and Pat Chambers is furious.
Well, Newbill attacking in the open floor. A couple possessions ago, we saw Hardaway Jr. give ground. Here at Stauskas, yeah, you know what? It's kind of a bang-bang, kind of iffy. I would have had probably a play on, but watch that inside or right arm. He does lower it a little bit and try to create some space, but that's a tough one, especially for your fourth if you're Newbill.
Pat Chambers is saying, if nothing else, it's a no call, but he loses that argument. And now Newbill, as Sean mentioned, has to play the rest of the game with 4 fouls. You can't take him out now. Hardaway lined it up, missed it. Travis got fouled from behind, 5th on Michigan.
That was a really good job by Michigan of getting the ball in the gut of that zone defense and then kicking it out to Tim Hardaway Jr., who wasn't able to knock it down.
What a job by Penn State hanging in there. John Beilein was a coach at Lemoyne College when Pat Chambers was playing against John Beilein as a college player. But now they're coaching against each other today as Taylor missed it.
The D2 level, Coach Chambers was at Philadelphia Textile.
Burke. Well, he just said, you know what, Sean, I can go to my right, too.
If there was a third direction he could go, I'm sure he could score going that way, too.
Michigan equals its biggest lead, 67-58. Chambers is still hot about that call against DJ Newbill. Now, his fire and his enthusiasm will get Penn State back in the NCAA tournament dance in the not-too-distant future.
And I tell you what, we talked about the foul trouble here at the 4:16 mark with 4 fouls, down 9. DJ Newbill just went over to the scorer's table. He'll be checking back into the ball game. But I tell you what, Tom, he's trying to send a message. Yes, he's talking to the official, but he's also sending a message to his players. I think what he's saying is, look, I expect you to continue to compete and not quit and not give up. I'm going to give you the same kind of courtesy, and I'm going to keep fighting for you as well.
No question, Sean. You nailed it. But the foul difficulty has really mounted up. And, you know, for Newbill, it really started almost in the first 5 minutes of the game. He had 2 fouls, and he means everything to this team. Taking over the point guard duties from Tim Hardaway, I beg your pardon, from Tim Frazier. He's become a vocal leader. 2 weeks ago, Pat Chambers said he wouldn't ever think of addressing the club. He addressed the club last night. That's how much he's grown up and become a leader. And now his 3-ball is there. And there's nothing better than a leader that can produce.
How about checking in cold off the bench in that dead ball situation and just splashing a 3?
He has 11. And once again, just when it looked like they were out for the count, the Nittany Lions stagger to their feet.
And that's not Newbill's strength, Tom. 20% from behind the arc on the year.
But leaders do lead, don't they? Stauskas on the drive. Stauskas, tough shot. Man, he doesn't play like a freshman. He has 18. 69-61 Michigan, 3:20 to play. Newbill on the drive, had it poked away. Recovered by Marshall. Short on the shot. Marshall the putback. He missed another layup. Again an attempt by Marshall. And a foul underneath.
And Tom, Penn State very fortunate to get this ball back because Jermaine Marshall follows his shot, but they put the backboard up there for a reason. Use it, young fella. Don't have to earn it from the foul line. If you use the backboard, you score 2.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. Fourth-ranked Michigan, they don't have to worry about being on the bubble that Mike was talking about, but they're trying to win their second consecutive Big Ten title, or at least a piece of it, and these impact freshmen have had a big impact today as well as on the entire campaign.
Stauskas has done a nice job of showing his versatility. Tom, I think people think of him as a great three-point shooter, and that's all he does. That's not even close to the full story. He can get to the rim and complete. And Glenn Robinson III has gotten to the rim and completed to the tune of 6 and 6 from the floor, 17 points for the freshman, and he really needed that. We talked about it. The last 4 ball games, 7 of 24 from the floor. He has delivered mightily today, also chipping in with 8 rebounds.
John Beeline's Wolverines were 16-0, were ranked #1 in the country. They've gone 5-4 since that 16-0 start, but that's because of the juggernaut called the Big Ten. As Jermaine Marshall, who's had another big game with 16 points. Pat Chambers is still not convinced Mike Eads got that call right. And he got his Irish dander up there a little bit during that timeout. Jermaine Marshall has pulled Penn State back to within 6, just over 3 to play. Stauskas with the ball. He's a Canadian whose goal in life is now to meet a fellow Canadian, Justin Bieber. I think the way he plays, he can shoot a little higher than that. Kept alive by Robinson and draws the foul on Sasha Barodniak. And boy, did Penn State need that rebound.
Yeah, and Penn State commits a cardinal sin. Watch what happens off the miss by Burke. Rather than corral the loose ball, they try to dribble it. They don't go after it with 2 hands. That allows Glenn Robinson III to come in there. If you're a blue jersey, don't try to dribble that loose ball. Go after it with 2 hands and secure it first.
What do you like about this kid's game, Sean? 17 points, 9 rebounds today. I mean, he's different than his day.
Yeah, he runs the floor very well. An outstanding rebounder is witnessed by the fact, 8 rebounds today, very efficient, shooting over 50%, 56% to be exact on the year. And I'll tell you the other thing. I like the fact that whether he's having a great game like he is today, or whether he's struggling as he has the last couple of times, his demeanor never changes. You wouldn't know the score by watching how he plays, because he's playing the same way every time. The highs aren't too high and the lows aren't too low.
Boy, was that a big putback by Sasha Barodniak. 4 in double figures for Penn State today. Michigan still leads it 71-65, 2:22 to play. Michigan will take a little time off the clock. Trey Burke with the ball, still doesn't have a turnover. 23 points, 5 assists. Stauskas with 9 to shoot. He'll give it up to Burke, the super sophomore out of Columbus. On the drive, spinning inside, scoring inside. Remember, Trey Burke originally committed to Penn State, then decommitted. Now he's in Ann Arbor. Can you imagine him in State College? Barodniak on the drive, counters.
I tell you what, just a wonderful job by Michigan the last time down the floor with the shot clock winding down of isolating Burke. Nick Colella on an island. Watch him look. He's like, is there anybody to help me? Oh, boy. And there comes the crossover and then the spin back. And so many times you'll see a guy who will want to finish with the right hand. We've talked about it. He can finish going to his left. And Nick Colella, there's no one there to help him. They spread the floor. Look where all the Michigan players are, giving one of the best ball handlers all the space he needs, spreading out the defense. No weak side help for Nick Colella.
Well, time now for the Motel's 6th man of the game. And it's number 10, Brandon Taylor, who's come off the bench today with 6 solid points. Part of a small bench for Penn State from a standpoint they don't go real deep. So every point off that bench is huge. Brandon Taylor, our Motel's 6th man of the game. And our Verizon Key Connection. Well, how many times did we watch this? On numerous occasions, Burke to Robinson.
Nice job by Burke of dribbling with his head up. And you saw at the bottom part of your screen there, Tom, how wide Glenn Robinson III kind of banana peeled out. So many times you'll see a guy try to run in a straight line. If he does that, that passing angle is not there.
So here we are, 1:40 2:48 to play. Michigan leads Penn State 73-67. The possession arrow does favor the Nittany Lions. Penn State has used up all of its timeouts. And you see the foul situation. Michigan with the length of the court to journey. Nittany Lions again, giving it everything they have. John Beilein was worried how his club would recover after the demolition job that Michigan State did on them the other night. But part of this goes to Penn State, a huge part of it. They couldn't play any harder. They have battled foul trouble. You talked about the foul trouble, Nuba. How about the fact that Marshall got 2 quick fouls early as well? And that's 30 points of an offense that struggles to score, that had to be on the bench for long periods of time for Coach Pat Chambers and the Nittany Lions. Oh, and Jermaine Marshall just picked up his score. Double bonus the rest of the way for Michigan. So Newbill and Marshall and Borobniak all with 4 fouls each for Penn State. And Michigan's at the foul line to shoot 2 more. This will be a season-high 31 free throw attempts for the Wolverines. As Robinson now has 20 points, Trey Burke has 25. And Robinson can match a career high if he makes this free throw to give him 21 and give Michigan an 8-point lead, and he does. Do you have to settle for threes? No, I'm going to try to extend this ball game if you're Penn State. Get something going toward the rim. Oh, Travis lost it on the dribble. If you're going to go toward the rim, you got to take the ball with you. 1:16 to play. Michigan with a 75-67 advantage. The problem is trying to foul that guy. He doesn't miss many free throws, and he doesn't turn the ball over ever. Burke, 25 points, 5 assists, 0 turnovers. Now, if Burke does happen to give the ball up to McGarry, that's who you want to foul. Oh, McGarry had to go right through his hands, but partially, and I mean just barely deflected. Burke coming off high. Nice job by Colella snaking in there and redirecting the pass. McGarry got it on the inbounds, gives it right back to Burke. And a smart play by McGarry. He knew that they were going to try to foul him if he corralled it. He got rid of it quickly. 10 to shoot. Now the trap out front. A lot of time being wasted. Hardaway for 3. And a rebound for Ross Travis, and the Nittany Lions down 8 with 37 seconds left. Oh, what a fake by Newbill. And he finds Borobniak for the layup. But again, Penn State's out of timeouts. They can't stop the clock. They're down 6, a foul in the backcourt. And you're forced to send Trey Burke to the line, Sean. Yeah, you can't be picky if you're Penn State in that situation. Certainly not who you want to foul, but started last time down the floor with the excellent hesitation dribble by Newbill. Got the defender out of his stance and found Borobniak. Landon Robinson has equaled a career best with 21. He'll shoot a pair. I beg your pardon, Trey Burke will shoot a pair. Brendan Robinson just shot a pair and made them both. Burke will shoot a pair, and now he has 26. 1 shy of a season high as our Quicken Loans amazing performance is Mr. Trey Burke. He is amazing. Equals the season best with 27 points. Minnesota and Iowa is coming up next. We'll take you to that ball game. Presented by 5 Hour Energy, the Gophers and Hawkeyes. And then later tonight, Illinois Northwestern. Penn State needs to get some points here in a hurry. Borobniak in the paint. He got fouled with 14.5 seconds left. John Beilein doesn't want his club to stop the clock. Yeah, that's one where you have to understand time and score, Tom. And if Borobniak scores, you just go down the other way. It's an 8-point game right now. Borobniak understands that he's got the smaller player Burke on him, and player's pride kicks in right there. Burke says you're going to have to earn it. Borobniak has had a big day. 16 points for the Serbian. 77-70. Michigan leads Penn State. 14.5 seconds remaining. And Borodniak nails them both.
Back to the game now for Penn State.
77-71 Wolverines. Borodniak with a career-high 17 points today. Trey Burke has 27. Glenn Robinson has 21. Burke gets fouled on the inbounds. And he'll shoot 2 more with 13 seconds left. Well, Michigan looks like they'll be 22-4.
That's his fifth.
And stay within 2 games of first place in the Big Ten. But wow, was it a struggle today for the Wolverines, the way Penn State played them.
Penn State came out with a great deal of intensity, able to hang around. They forced Michigan to utilize a lot of effort on the defensive end of the floor. The Nittany Lions able to use dribble penetration, particularly in the first half, to get to the rim. Michigan took that away. Much better defensive focus in the second half. And this is a win in a number of ways. Obviously, in the traditional sense, in going in the proper column if you're the Michigan Wolverines with the W, but you also got one of your primary players, Glenn Robinson III, back on track. And that will pay dividends, not just today, but if you're Michigan going forward, because you saw his body language and his confidence level elevate here today.
Burke now with 28 points. Michigan at the foul stripe today has an 11-point advantage over Penn State and a 7-point lead overall. Don't forget, go to BTN to go for the start of the Minnesota-Iowa game. We are going there right after this one. As Trey Burke is 1 shy of a career high. He has 29. So it's an 8-point Michigan lead. 13 seconds to go. BJ Newbill will have to fire it up in a hurry. On the drive, he kicks it into the corner. Montminy with a miss. Rebound Glenn Robinson, and that's the way it's going to end. A heck of an effort by the Nittany Lions, but the Michigan Wolverines show why they are a Big Ten title contender and a national championship contender. The final score today from Ann Arbor. Penn State falling to the Michigan Wolverines 79-71. For Sean Morris, I'm Tom Hamilton. Let's join Brian Anderson and Sean Harrington in Iowa City. So long, everybody, from Ann Arbor.